Hello everybody and welcome to another Lost Ark video. Last video I was talking about why you should play Lost Ark. Today I will be explaining how to play Lost Ark. Specifically in this video, how to go ahead and pick your first class in Lost Ark so you can get started. Now there are a lot of videos out there on what classes you should be picking and a lot of tier lists and stuff like that. But I am here with the one definitive answer, the universal truth as to what class you should be playing in Lost Ark. And that class is whatever the fuck you want, okay? Don't listen to these people making videos. Get into the game and play it and try it yourself. As soon as you load into the game, you can go ahead and pick your region and your server. I don't think server matters that much. The only place where I've heard that there are queues is EU Central. I've heard that there are queues for some of their servers, or at least there were whenever the game first released. Hopefully they've calmed out by now, but regardless, pick a server. As soon as you get in, you'll be able to pick your class. Now, here are a few considerations whenever it comes to picking your class, so that you can determine based on your own criteria what is important to you. First off, all DPS classes are relatively balanced for PvE. There might be up at the top level, there might be a couple people squeezing out a bit more damage from certain classes, but that is not going to stay there for long. This game is constantly balanced. It is constantly being worked on by the devs up in Smilegate. So it is not a good idea to pick a class because they might be strong now, because that might not be true later. And classes that are bad right now will definitely get buffed. That being said, nerfs and buffs they happen, okay? You need to enjoy what class you are playing. If you are enjoying what class you're playing, you're not going to feel the nerfs. You're not going to feel the buffs. You are just going to feel good. Now, if gender is something you consider whenever you're picking your character, the classes in Lost Ark are gender locked. So warriors right now are only male. You cannot play a female warrior. That being said, that might change. They do things that are called gender unlocks. So for instance, the martial artist male didn't always exist. That is a pretty heavily changed version of the war dancer called Striker. And they come out with these every once in a while. Same thing with Gunslinger, which is the female gunner. The Gunslinger is a modified version of the Deadeye, which is the male gunner. So these changes do happen, but they are not guaranteed. So if that is something that is that you consider, there you go. Now, another point, alts are heavily incentivized in this game. However, they are not mandatory. Alts will help you progress through the game faster, and they also give you something to do whenever you're bored with your main character. Each of these classes do feel very different and play differently, so I would recommend having multiple characters. Myself, I am somebody that struggles with class identity within a game or having kind of a one-trick. If you're that one-trick person, rest assured that you can still progress in this game. You might hit a couple more roadblocks than people that have multiple alts, but at the same time, you are going to be able to progress on that main character faster than the people that are worried about their secondary character or third character. Also, you start off with 6 character slots in the first place. It is completely valid to go ahead and make multiple characters and play through the beginning to see what you feel, which one you want to be your main, which one you want to be your alts. In this game, the popular thing to do is to keep your alts at a certain level until your main gets all the way up and is practically finished before you get your alts up as well. Now, another thing, within this little test area that I'm going to be talking about in a bit, the class abilities might not be used in the in-game. Specifically Shadowhunter, a lot of those abilities are not actually used within your in-game rotations on Shadowhunter. But that being said, you get the general idea, you get the general gist of the character. If you're playing Shadowhunter, it's probably not because that Q ability felt really good in the training zone. It's probably because you like the demon form, you like what it has to offer, or maybe you like just generally how the class plays or looks. Now, earlier I did say that classes are relatively balanced, and that is true of PvE. For PvP, this is not the case. So they are, but they aren't. And it's a very nuanced topic, to be honest, that I don't really have an opinion on. I have done very little PvP, but it's just easier for some classes than it is for others. And those tier lists do exist. You can go ahead and find those on YouTube. I am not capable of making those types of opinions. I do not have that type of experience, so if you do want to know what is good in PvP, you can always find that later. As well as in PvP, everything is equalized. You do not have to get that character to end game. All you have to do is get that character to level 38, I think, which is very, very easy to do once you get one all the way through to 50. Now, as far as how to get these classes and how to try them out yourself, as soon as you click on a server, you will be given that character selection screen. You can go ahead and pick whatever class interests you. You do have 6 character slots from the start, and there are only really 5 classes in the game, 5 main classes, if you take away the male-female thing. And each of these have differing amounts of subclasses, but the total amount of subclasses in the NA version right now is 15. That is a lot. That does sound like a lot. There are a lot of options for you. You should be able to find what you would like to play. The first thing I want to talk about on this screen is if popularity is something that influences your character decision, you'll notice this little eye up near the top right. This will tell you the character breakdown for what server you are currently playing on so that you can see what is popular, what is not. This is there's also something like this for subclasses later on. Whenever you decide your subclass, whenever you're making that final decision, you can switch between them and hover over that eye and see the exact same thing. What percentage of X class is this subclass versus the other? Now, that being said, these are heavily skewed in Warrior and Mage, and that is because there is a huge botting problem on the NA servers. This won't impact the average player that much. You really won't see the effects until you get to endgame, but it does definitely overemphasize these numbers. Now, that being said, the 2 classes are Berserker and Sorceress that seem to be a lot of the bots. Those classes are very popular in their own right. So it's not completely wrong to say that Berserker and Sorceress are 2 of the most popular classes. However, the numbers are very obviously over-exaggerated. But yes, from this point, pick your class. You'll load into the starting area. You can walk across the bridge, and after a short, unskippable cutscene, you'll be able to choose your subclass. Now, this area, you can spawn monsters, you can spawn a boss, you can try out combos, you can see how the character feels in combat. Now, this is very much not how Lost Ark combat feels. They're often maybe double or triple the enemies on your screen as there are right now. But this is a really good area to kind of feel what the character would feel like. But yes, dig in, try out these classes, see what they feel like. And if you see one that you enjoy and you want to know what the end game looks like, you can go ahead and click on the video I've linked in the description below. This video is by IndieMate. He is a very experienced Lost Ark player. He has these videos where he compiles all the classes. He has all of the classes in endgame, including the ones not yet released on our servers. But he was an invaluable resource to me starting off the game. He was the reason I'm playing Artillerist, the reason I'm playing Gunlancer. Just watching that in-game footage was a really, really good sell for me to play these classes. Yeah, that's kind of all I can say without saying more. I mean, I can go ahead and describe why I play the characters I play. Honestly, the thing that sold me on Deadeye was the movement ability and kind of the switching between weapons. That's a mechanic that is unique to Deadeye and Gunslinger, and adds a kind of additional difficulty to the game that I think will help me not get so bored. I went ahead and leveled a Gunlancer because it looked like some hipster shit I could do. Unfortunately, I am now having to play the slightly lamer build just because I haven't put the resources into the character just yet. But that is something I do want to do eventually. Artillerist, Big Boom Boom, what else is there to say? And Scrapper is what I'm leveling right now. Because honestly, the feel of martial artists in this game is very, very different from most melee games. A lot of melee characters, I would say that Berserker is kind of the traditional melee character, that melee feel of just big hits with like a two-handed weapon. Martial artist feels extremely nimble. I think it fits more into a rogue than any of the assassin classes. It definitely does feel very, very interesting, and the sounds on Scrapper are immaculate. The reason I went for Scrapper over any of the other subclasses was genuinely the sounds. I'm gonna just play a quick little, I'm gonna hit a bunch of buttons on my keyboard and you'll be able to hear just what the class sounds like. And that, look, I heard that one and that was enough for me. I just, that meaty feeling to everything is just so entertaining. All that being said, I do hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and like it, subscribe, all that shit. If you'd like, you can go ahead and join the Discord down below. It is in a state of disrepair currently. I need to go ahead and rework everything in there. And that is something I'll do eventually. But if you have any questions, if you want to look for people to play with, you can always do that there. I am always available. My DMs are open. If you have any questions to me about any classes or anything like that, just go ahead and send them there. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and take care.